I'm going to run out here and tell digital real quick. Sometimes they want to know. Hi, digital friends. I'm about to do a weather stream. I've got it set to end at 3:59. Do you mind watching to make sure it doesn't do that weird thing where it like reverts the time back? Thank you. So Noah, you'll notice Hey, good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. 5 News Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert here working alongside meteorologist Noah Simmons, tracking a severe thunderstorm warning across parts of the River Valley. You're going to notice primarily that's where the bulk of the activity is right now, albeit there is a couple of spotty showers in Benton and Washington County. The strongest one and the only one that's severe at the moment is this one that's right now moving through portions of Crawford County. We'll take a closer look at that fella right there. This has been warned for the potential of up to 1 inch in diameter hail. So we're talking the size of quarters and up to 60-mile-per-hour downburst winds coming out of that cell. In fact, this specific cell actually showed a signature for some of those downburst winds near Natural Dam and Uniontown. So we're talking west of I-49. If you're in Mountainburg, perhaps even Winslow, you're also getting a strong thunderstorm, but that's not the one that's actually severe at this time. This warning does clip portions of Adair and Sequoia County, but for the moment, the bulk of the severe weather itself is actually in northwestern Crawford County. This warning is going to go on for a little more than 30 minutes from now until 4:15. It does include the town of Cedarville, Rudy, Shore, and Uniontown. We'll go in a little bit closer on this guy right here. Here's Cedarville. So if you live anywhere north of Cedarville along 220 right there, you're going to be impacted by this severe thunderstorm. We'll go in on the hail core here. Natural Dam is where it looks to be the heaviest right now in terms of precipitation and probably even a little bit of hail. Now here's hail detector. It's not detecting a whole lot of significantly large stones, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see some nickels, probably some quarters out of that. There are hail detectors detecting penny, but I think if we go to that pixel right there, yeah, penny as well. That very well could be seen up Lee Creek as well. Here's Highway 59, the strongest of that cell where the most intense precipitation is and where there may be some gusty winds is probably going to be there along 220 and Highway 59. We'll go ahead and look into the wind tracker here. We're not expecting any rotation, anything of that nature, so I pulled this product up not because I expect to find any. The environment simply isn't going to support that today, but it is probably going to be evident that there is probably going to be a downburst signature here. A downburst signature is when a thunderstorm grows and develops really, really tall up into the atmosphere. We're talking 40, at times 50 to 60,000 feet. So higher than where airplanes travel. And then because the environment this time of the year doesn't support those updrafts sustaining for very long, the thunderstorm just collapses on itself. And all those winds just rush to the surface, fans out in all directions. That's a downburst, and sometimes those can produce 50 to 60-mile-per-hour winds. I'm not seeing anything evident of that exactly at this moment, but we'll have to watch this closely over the next little bit. If you're just now tuning into the live stream, we're tracking one severe thunderstorm warning. This one's going to be in northwestern Crawford County, Natural Dam, Uniontown, Cedarville included in this warning. Alma is not, Van Buren is not, and what we're going to find is this cell is moving relatively slowly. It's not very quick quick at all. I'll loop this over the last hour to get an idea that it's almost entirely stationary. That's not to say it might not drift a little bit, but over the last hour, it hasn't moved much at all, producing nearly an inch of rain across parts of the area that have seen this thunderstorm activity, generally speaking, just to the south of that Washington-Crawford County line there. Well, let's take a broader perspective here and get a track of some of the other thunderstorms that are impacting the area. We've got a couple near Boonville, south of Boonville there. It looks like there's a nice outflow boundary. That's a piece of evidence that some of these thunderstorms may be starting to dissipate, at least there. The thing to keep in mind is, well, that's a piece of evidence that things are starting to taper down for that one thunderstorm. These little gust fronts act as mini cold fronts, if you will, and that can often produce some additional showers and some thunderstorms. We'll take a peek into a couple of these little guys in northwest Arkansas. They're pretty isolated at the moment, but that's not to say they might not try to develop into a strong, potentially severe thunderstorm. The odds are somewhat low for us today, but that doesn't mean they're certainly not zero. In fact, what we find is this is going to be largely west of Interstate 49, but you'd have one east of 49 there, east of Fayetteville, heading over towards Goshen and Elkins there. Bella Vista just to the east side of town. Bentonville, you see a little bit of rain, especially on the west side of town. A little bit closer here is going to show near the Benton County Fairgrounds, Cave Springs, Highfield, seeing some rain not far from the airport there. Things are quiet in Rogers at the moment. Wouldn't be surprised if this little shower doesn't try to develop into something a little bit more meaningful, which could produce some larger thunderstorms with time. These are going to be very hit or miss today. The chance is about 20 to 30%, kind of depending on where you are. That's why not everyone's going to see rain, but if you do, it very well could be some heavy rain, and of course you see some lightning, so you're hearing the thunder. I've been hearing it for the last hour or so. Here's Fayetteville, just to the east side of town, there along Highway 16 towards Elkins. You got some showers near Wyman and Baldwin. A pretty heavy cell right there. It's small, it's isolated, but very well could be producing some heavy rain and likely a little bit of hail as well. An area-wide reset real quick. Of course, we're coming up on our 4 o'clock newscast, so I'm going to have to end the live stream a little bit early. I did just want to give you an update so you didn't have to wait until the 4 o'clock newscast. This is what we're tracking. We'll go into eastern Scott County. Looks like there's some activity that haven't mentioned much yet. Let's do that first. Right here, so this is going to be east of Waldron, drifting off towards the south. None of this is severe. Near Parks, here's Blue Ball up here. Here's Waldron on the left side of your screen there. All of this pretty isolated in nature, kind of doing the same thing where it's really not moving much, kind of drifting at most. But just to the north is that outflow boundary I mentioned to you. You can kind of see it right here. It just moved through Boonville. So in Boonville, we just had some gusty winds, right? From Washburn through Boonville over towards Blue Mountain. That little gust front is air from a collapsing thunderstorm pushing towards the south. Watch along that gust front and right ahead of it. That's sometimes where you can see those thunderstorms redevelop because of that mini cold front effect. Not seeing that out there right now, but it's certainly a real possibility that it may happen. Let's go over here into Fort Smith. We've had that gust front move through, so you obviously saw those winds pick up there as well. Near Greenwood, Pecola, Rock Island. Spiro's going to see those south of Fort Smith. If you're in Fort Smith, you're probably hearing the thunder from this thunderstorm that is, well, it looks like they may actually have just dropped the severe thunderstorm warning. That's some great news for us. This is what was severe thunderstorm warned. That warning has since been canceled. I'll let Noah take a check of that and see if I'm right before I end the stream on that note. Noah Simmons is our brand new meteorologist here, joined this week. You'll see him debuting next week. And in any typical 5 News meteorologist fashion, you hit the ground running with some storms. I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, but it happens to all of us, it feels like. We need some rain, so a lot of us are getting some good beneficial rain across the area. I wish we could just do without the storms nonetheless. While we're waiting on that bit of information, I will go back into Sequoyah County. Let's check in on some of that development there. Did cancel it. Noah says they did cancel. That's great news. Brushy right here, south of Greasy in Adair County, north of Muldrow. Also seeing a gust front move through Flute Springs, Marble City, and Pinhook Corner. Strong thunderstorm, not severe, but there's a decent amount of lightning. You see those lightning strikes there? So you're probably hearing that as well. Okay, that's it. I'm going to wrap up this live stream here. Check back in with us in about 12 minutes on your 5 News First at 4, both here on 5 News Plus, our free mobile app, and of course over the air on Channel 5 there as well. We'll have the latest not only on these thunderstorms, but our rain chances are going to be going up tomorrow. I think a lot more of us are going to see storms tomorrow, and then there's going to be an additional chance on Friday as well. A very active weather pattern. This is just the beginning of things starting to change. That change includes not only some cooler temperatures, but some active weather there as well. For all of us here at 5 News, thanks for tuning into this live stream. We'll catch you here on your 5 News First at 4 in just over 10 minutes.